Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Sunday, November 6, 2022. This is going to be my lovely, of course, post-market wrap-up. I apologize for looking so freaking ghastly this morning. It has honestly been rough on me since Ed Hall's passing. And, we're doing okay over here. Anyway, so with that said, people, let us, No one ever said that I was normal, and I never want to be labeled as normal. But you and I, look, we got this, and we're going to talk about a few things here that are important. So let's step back just a moment to Friday. A roller coaster ride in this stock market. We started off higher, went negative, then a phenomenon occurred that just happens to occur every single time the market doesn't do something that these central bankers want it to do. So what do? They float out the images, the falsehoods, the liars. I'm talking about Fed presidents, and of course, it wasn't the Ghoul this time. It wasn't Lex Luthor with those. Just do yourself a favor real quick. Open up another window and just I don't know, search for Neil Kashkari. Look at this man's eyes. What do they say? That the eyes are the mirrors of the soul. That guy is possessed by the devil. There's no doubt in my mind, man. Look at those eyes. There's something lurking there that ain't too pretty. These Federal Reserve presidents, many of you probably think I'm joking when I say that they're not human, that they're just some kind of yet to be defined, entities. I don't believe they're human at all. I don't know what they are, but they're just some other central bankers and central banking. This is some other thing here. This is a curse upon the earth. You know that. A curse upon the people. And until we can eliminate these organizations, we're done. They're going to drive the world economy and financial system in any direction they want it to. They're going to pull it this way and then re-pull it back the other way. And what they're doing right now, people, is a crime against humanity. It's a crime against humanity on an epic freaking scale here, pushing the world deeper into a financial crisis. I mean, look, you know what I'm talking about. This is what they're trying to do right now. This let me calm down a minute here before I blow a gasket. The lie, as you all know right now, is what we're seeing here is a rate problem that they created. I want you to envision what I'm about to tell you, and no one's holding them to account. So central banks around the world, none more so than the Federal Reserve, have kept rates suppressed since the last meltdown, buying it all. And we know that's the goal here of central banks here. So they've created this environment that they're now blaming is the issue, their fault. And now they're trying to tell you that, this problem, well, they won't even say it, but the problem they created is now manifesting itself in surging global inflation and an economy in free fall around the world, and people are suffering on a scale that we haven't seen in decades. In fact, almost never. We've never witnessed inflation, global inflation, especially here in the United States, surging like it is right now, in unison. You think this is by accident, really, honestly? No, it isn't here. But the lie is, it's a rate problem. It's a rate problem. It's a rate problem. It is not a rate problem, and you know that if you've been following this blog. Anybody who has even the slightest clue that's been following this blog realizes this is a currency problem. We're in a currency crisis, a currency free fall, a race to the bottom. It's not going to stop. But I'm going to let you in on a little bit of information here. Central bank's goal is to do what? What is it? You've heard me say this a million times. To continue to inflate, right? Of course. The money supply is going to balloon much faster than before. It has to happen. That's the nature of the beast. The nature of the debt-based economic model is that debt must inflate and inflate and inflate some more at a faster pace all the time. Why do you think, okay, I've covered this before as well. Why do you think central banks are not addressing the real issue here, which is Again, the currency crisis, they're doing nothing to stop the currency free fall, for which they're all in a race to the bottom here. None more so than the Federal Reserve. Sure, the relative strength of the dollar is just lovely and fantastic. So what does this mean? The dollar, relatively compared to other currencies, is still the prettiest belle at the ball. But it's dog shit. And people are getting sucked dry here around the world, whatever currency they're trading in or transacting in, because we have no choice here, okay? They set the rules. They say, this is the currency, you're going to use it, and that's all. We got to adopt some kind of barter system, you and me. We got to circumvent their system. Look, this whole issue with cryptocurrencies was a really good idea until Wall Street got its ugly, disgusting, despicable, putrid, vomitous hands on it, okay? We all knew this was going to happen. I mean, duh. It's, look, they're not going to allow people to circumvent their system without punishing them on a grand scale. I think you are well aware of that. These central banks collectively have every angle covered, and I mean every angle you can dream about, think about, fantasize about, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so Friday, what an epic day that was. Roller coaster ride here in the market. 10-year yield came up 4.15. But remember, people, it's not the number. All right, I'm going to say this again because I read the comments. It's not so much the number. Of course, it plays into it a little bit because we're seeing rates rise around the world. And this is hurting people's ability to get loans. And you have, it's stifling growth. It's putting a lot of pressure on a lot of people, mortgage brokers, banks themselves, which, trust me on this one, there's a problem here. The underlying issue with the banks here, they can't survive. The savings rate is in the negative. They can't put deals together. They can't make loans. You think that banks are doing well here? They're not. The lie might be that banks are prospering, but they're not at all. They can't in this environment. But again, it doesn't matter. You and I, as always, are going to get sucked dry to bail out these organizations again. Do you believe for a nanosecond that the last meltdown when these banks got recapitalized, the Fed has recapitalized the banks repeatedly, not just during the last meltdown, but they have a direct main line to the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve is not going to allow these institutions to fail. They'll allow you to fail. Oh, and me. But these institutions, no way. There is no way they're going to be allowed to fail. So just whatever happens with the banks, realize that you're going to pay for it. You and I are going to pay for it as always. As central banks push the world deliberately into where they want it to go, and it's a global depression that's manifesting itself. Again, this is not a rate problem. Central banks are going to continue to raise rates, even though we heard from, again, the freaks from the Federal Reserve who are not human, Barkin, Fed President Barkin and Collins on Friday to say, guess what? Moving forward, the central banks or the Federal Reserve may slow down the pace of its rate hikes, but they're not going to stop inflating. The Federal Reserve colluding. Okay, notice my word here, because the thing known as Jay Powell made it a point during 2 FOMC meetings ago to say, central bankers, we talk all the time. Oh, yes, but we don't coordinate our effort. We don't coordinate it. Do you believe that? Of course. They're doing the same things at the same time. Oh, that's just a miracle. By some accident? Are you kidding me? They lie to us at every chance they possibly can. And they float out these freaks to tell the tale. So yeah, Collins and Barkins, they're absolutely right. And I've been saying this before those 2 freaks got floated out. You're going to see this. The narrative change. You're going to see Fed presidents floated out telling stories like this. And absolutely, the Fed is going to, and other central banks, step back from their supposed aggressive stance in trying to combat inflation, which hasn't done a damn thing. Nothing, and how about absolute zero to stop inflation from surging around the world, because they know that's not the problem. It's a currency crisis. It's a currency crisis. I'm going to say it again. Are you ready? It's a currency free fall crisis. That's what's going on here. And no one's going to talk about this stuff, people. It's just so vomitous in my view, but you and I get it. Look, it was astonishing to me, the market turnaround. Not really astonishing, but I was surprised a little bit when, on Friday, right out of the gate, stocks higher across the board. Then we get the sell-off, okay? 10-year yield rising. Dollar looking okay. And then all of a sudden, they float out the freaks. Collins on this side, Barkin on this side. They always tag team the market. How many times have you heard me say that? It's not just one person. They do this for a long time, it was Mester, the ghoul, and Lex Luthor. But now they pulled out those freaks and they're putting in a couple more. They tag team the market. Either they both say the same thing, or one says one thing and one says another to keep the market off balance. They know how to play the game here. But these two freaks in their crystal ball, they see this. They see the vision. It's a vision. The vision. Yeah, the vision is what you and I know what's going to happen here. But that doesn't mean for a nanosecond that central banks are going to stop inflating. No, the money supply is going to continue to balloon because they can't allow you to know that it's really a currency problem. They've duped the world into thinking, I guess, that it's a rate problem. But meanwhile, raising rates hasn't helped a damn thing at all. We haven't seen a shitting thing happen. Is that a word, shitting? Yeah, of course it is. Anyway, nothing. But they won't address the issue of the currency. In order to fix this whole thing, people, literally, the system has to implode. You understand? But the problem here is they're going to issue in their solution, not our solution. A real solution to the problem would be to go back to a wealth-based system or a commodity-backed system. Why do you think our forefathers wanted a wealth-based system backed by gold? No. Okay, when central bankers started to scheme and say, we can't allow that because, you see, that doesn't give us any control. How can we gain control? That they had to find a method or a whole bunch of things that would allow these institutions to remove the wealth-based system put in by our forefathers and replace that with a debt-based system. And the debt-based system, again, is the curse upon mankind that central banks run. And debt must be pulled into the now in greater and greater amounts just to allow this system to function. Just to allow it to function. This is why you're going to see central banks inflate faster. And do you think, let's put this together on in our heads. We're not too stupid, you and I. So, if we know for a fact that central banks are going to continue to balloon the money supply, and we understand that this is really a currency problem and not a rate problem, where do you see inflation moving forward? Yeah, can I get a duh, please? Obviously, inflation is going to worsen. Again, like I've been telling you, central banks have no interest at all in stopping inflation or stopping themselves from inflating. A central bank's power resides in what? You know the answer to this. How do central banks gain power? By inflating. That's it, and that's their goal. They're going to continue to inflate. They're going to continue to purchase assets with their product that they create out of thin air. Imagine that kind of power. And their goal is to own it all. Their goal is to create slave nations and individual slaves so they can implement their final solution, which is ultimate power over the people in the entire world. The Bidens, the Obamas, the Trumps, and all this bullshit, whoever leader you may have around the world, it's a shit show. It's a theater act to keep you distracted. Oh, it's their fault. Damn. Oh, I hate those people because the media says I have to hate them. So they must be right. So I have to listen because I'm being programmed by what they're telling me. So I have to listen because I must obey my masters. I must obey them. I'm nothing but a drone. I'm a little zombie. Yeah, sure, stay distracted because that's what they want. Okay? Once you understand that it's the central banks who rule the world, who dictate your life via the mainstream propaganda, well, then the whole thing will become clear to you. Until that time, you're going to be lost with no direction at all. Zero. On an open sea without a rudder. It's the truth, people. Anyway, I was writing down a few things here this morning. I want you to, a lot of you have already checked out the new MMRI, Mannarino Market Risk Indicator. I think it's fantastic. And a big shout out to you, John Rusk, for helping put that thing together. Check out the new MMRI. It shows, again, the color-coded numbers, but now there is a chart. connected to it. A lot of you have been asking for this for months. Well, I got it done. I might have took a while, but I got it done. So again, link in the description of this video. Anyway, people, what are we going to do here? You and me looking forward are going to keep our eyes on the MMRI, Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, and there's not a better risk indicator for this market anywhere. I don't care where you look, this is it, okay? It looks at at market risk based on credit, based on debt, based on the debt market, and that's the driver. You know that if you've been following this blog. Anyway, we're going to watch, of course, global bond yields. Is the sell-off going to continue, or are they going to float out a couple of more freaks? Let's see what they do, okay? Keep your eye on the dollar, okay? The relative strength of the dollar is a massive tell. Again, what do we know? I love talking about what we know. We know that for some reason, whenever there is turmoil or worry or fear in the market, the instantaneous knee-jerk is into the U.S. dollar, and you see its relative strength gain. Well, Friday, we watched the relative strength of the dollar crater by nearly 2%. Nearly 2%. So understanding that the knee-jerk reaction higher in the dollar is a clear tell that there's a problem. What is that problem? What is the real problem here? It's instability in the debt market. It's illiquidity in the debt market. It's an insolvent debt market that demands that more debt be piled on. So this is the story here. And, you know, no matter what central banks try to do, they can't fix a damn thing, nor are they concerned about fixing it. They're going to continue to inflate until this whole thing implodes. And I mean implodes. It's going to change the economic and financial landscape and suck millions of people down with it. And I mean down in the literal sense. We're going to see a loss of life on a vast scale around the world. A locking up of the system and inability to acquire basic resources. Mark my words, this is where we're going, people. You know it. The writing is on the freaking wall. The only question is, what are you going to do about it, really? All right, with that said, people, look, I'm going to let you all go. I think this video has been exceedingly important. I really do. And you know, look, I go off I'm a passionate guy. I really am. And this stuff gets to me. You all know that. And I know it gets to all of you too. But why it bothers me so much is because people are blind. They have no idea what's going on. People walk through time and space. They have no idea who they are, what they're doing, why they're doing it. They just, you know, move through time and space like zombies or drones or whatever the hell they are. The zombie apocalypse is real. They're everywhere. Zombies everywhere. They're brain dead. No clue. They can't think. They've been lulled into some sense of, I don't know, subhuman state. Honestly, they forget that they are human beings. They forget that they have the ability to think. They forget that they have a God-given gift of intellect. All that has been muted. It has been blunted, just like you would expect to see in a zombie. You understand? You and I, look, we're making a difference here, okay? We really are. We're trying our hardest, damn it, to get this stuff out there, to let people understand what's going on. This blog is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's because of you. I'm nowhere. You will not find Greg Mannarino on a single social network. It's you. It's all of you who are getting this out. And you are making a difference in the world by getting this stuff out there, by trying to enlighten people, letting them know what's going on. And I'm so proud of you. I am so damn proud of you. This guy here loves you a lot. People, please share the video. Thumbs up would always be nice. I appreciate that. Comment here. What do you think about the situation here? Am I off base today? Am I on point today? Let me know. I will read the comments. I go through the comments. I really do. And I try to get out these scammers text me and WhatsApp me and, you know, they use my image, and they say, oh, I have something special for you. It's not me. All right. This is scams. So be very mindful of that. All right. Look, this guy here loves you a lot. And I mean that from the heart. I will see all of you in the morning. It's going to be fantastic, and I'm just looking forward to that. So, I'm gone.